Classic mode uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started with classic mode, you need to suspend your phone above your drawing surface. You can use something like a tall glass, a spray can, or better yet, one of our Vinci Eye phone stands. Links to these stands can be found in the app. If you're using a glass or a can, it's recommended to add a loop of painter's tape to the top and the bottom of the glass, so the phone stays in place when you touch it. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. Now it's time to position your image on the paper. Press the Move button, and with one finger, you can move the image around. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and even rotate the image relative to your paper. When you are done positioning your image, make sure to unpress the Move button. This locks your image in place so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To adjust the transparency or opacity of the image, press the Opacity button. This brings up the opacity slider. You can move the slider to make the image more or less transparent. You can also switch the opacity on and off using the opacity toggle. Now let's check out some need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. If the camera seems blurry while you're drawing, go to Tools, then Camera, and then you'll be able to adjust the focus manually using the focus slider. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or blur. Next to filters is the breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers or steps by color value. For experienced artists, it'll help you analyze the notan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers project. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This allows you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the record button. From there, you can record time-lapse videos of your drawings, just like these. Make sure if you post your time-lapse on social media to tag us for a repost. We're at Vinci Eye on all the social networks. If you need help with anything, press the question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out FAQs, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast to questions and feedback. And that wraps it up for our Classic Mode Quick Setup tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting techniques using Vinci Eye. get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in view of the camera, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you are drawing. To get started, take a business card-sized piece of paper or larger. Then take a black pen or marker and add lots of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better the anchor will work. Also, the larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have an accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor. Then press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it's virtually projected on your paper. When you're finished, press Use Photo in the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your photo. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to just inside the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches wide. Take a ruler and measure your anchor's width. Then, type in the width and press Done. You should be brought back to the Anchor Manager screen. Here, you can press Done in the top left corner. Now your image should appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view of your camera. Do not try and hold the phone in your hand and draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall spray can, a tall glass, or a vase. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. Now it's time to position your image where you want it on the paper. Use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then, press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, or rotate the image. When you have the image exactly where you want it, press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion. Now, you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. To make the image more or less transparent, you can press the Opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen. You can use the slider to make your image more or less transparent, or you can use the opacity toggle to turn the image on and off. Now let's check out some of the need-to-know features located in the Tools menu. Once you have the phone set up, you can turn off the phone's autofocus by going to Tools, then AR, then Fix Focus. This will also refocus the camera to your paper if the camera is blurry. To apply image filters, press Tools, then slide the menu all the way over to Filters, then press Filters. From here, you can do things like change your image to grayscale, add posterization, or add blur. Next to Filters is the Breakdown tool. This lets you break down your image into layers, or steps, by color value. For experienced artists, it's a great way to help you analyze the notan or structure and composition of your artwork. For beginners, it turns any image into a draw by numbers tutorial. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off. This makes it easier to see where you've drawn already and where you still need to draw, as well as helping you see what areas need to be lighter or darker. The last absolutely need-to-know feature is the Record button. From here, you can record time-lapse movies of your drawings without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure that if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us for a repost. We're at Vinci Eye on all the social networks. We love to see what people are creating with the app. If you need help with anything, press the question mark button in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos on how to use the app, check out our FAQs page, or email us. We usually respond extremely fast and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. That wraps it up for the quick setup AR mode tutorial. For more in-depth videos, be sure to check out the instructional videos section of the app, or browse and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we have tips and tricks, live streams, and guest artists teaching drawing and painting tutorials using the app.
Hello, sorry about that. I kind of just zoned out there for a minute. So my name's Charity Low. I am a portrait artist that specializes with pencil and graphite pencil and colored pencil. These videos are to help you learn how to use the app, how to set it up, and I will help you use it to its fullest potential. If I really recommend that you draw along with me. There's the reference photo posted in the Vinci Eye App's group on Facebook in the featured posts for that. And then it's also in my personal Facebook page, also a featured post, or you can find it in the app in my profile. So you just search Charity Lowsart and then you go to the little light bulb icon and scroll down until you see the reference. And all my references are going to be there from previous videos. So you can go ahead and do older videos along with me as well. I also would really love you to send me some of your drawings so it could be featured in a following slideshow. That's if you feel comfortable doing so. Right now it's just me and one other artist. It would be nice to see a wide variety of different artists and their different talents and styles. I am open to doing requests. You can have me do not just pencil work. I can do soft pastel, watercolor, acrylic, pen, charcoal, and also like wood burning, stained glass painting, fabric painting, quilling. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can request me to do. Even if I haven't done it before, I will do the studying throughout the time between when you requested it to when I start doing it. And I will break it down into very easy and beginner-friendly steps to get you started. You could also request personal photos of your pets and family members. And I will even send you my drawing to you for free. No charge for anything, not even for shipping. You can request different subjects other than people and pets. And you can also do requests for challenges. So like, for example, hey, let's see if you can draw a realistic portrait using cheaper pencils or just the primary colors. So I'm up for that as well. If you don't have the app and you want to try it but don't want to pay for it right away, I have a promo code in the description for the iOS. It will let you have it for free for an entire year. Android is currently free because they just dropped their newer version of it, and they want to have people try it out and give their honest review in the Play Store. There are a few ads for certain features, but it's a great opportunity to see if you like it or not. And if you find that if you know that you're going to use it a lot, pay for it as soon as possible because they keep you at the price that you originally paid for. So it's super nice that they do that. If you need tech support, go ahead and send them an email at info@davinciieapp.com. That email is also in the description as well. I recommend joining the Facebook group because there's other artists there you can hang out with, get some inspiration, some ideas of how to set it all up. And also I host competitions and giveaways every so often. It's about every 6 months I do that. And both of them are like for cash prizes and stuff. So that's something really fun to do. And yeah, I think that's about it for this little blurb at the beginning here. So let me just do something here for a second. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the app. So to find the reference photo on the app, you go up to the top left corner where there's 3 lines, purple lines. You click on that. You go to the magnifying glass, and then you press charity. You type in charitylowsart. Click on my profile. Go into my inspirations. I have a ton of stencils that you are more than welcome to use. So there is the one that we're doing. So we click on that image and then click on the little photo icon and then press draw this that's on the top right corner. You could also tag your drawings onto this as well so we can see a wide variety of different drawings. Okay, so let's go back. Because I've already started this drawing, I don't need to look up the reference. I just go into projects, which is the center of the screen at the bottom with a little bookmark symbol. Click on that, scroll down, and then you click on the image that you're going to continue doing. And there it is. It automatically realigns if you are using AR mode. This is, so let me see. Is this going to work? Yeah, there we go. It just kind of glitched for a second because I already had an anchor on there. But yeah, it automatically realigns, as you can see. That is one feature that is really handy, especially if you're going to be using this app throughout multiple sessions for one drawing. Another cool thing about the AR mode, so it locks onto the anchor. So this one you can print off. It's ready to go. You don't have to do any measurings or anything like that. It's just something you print off. I've posted it on the group. I might need to repost it just so that it's up on the top. But if you have the anchor at an angle, so with the reference, so you can have your drawing surface, your table at an angle, or your phone at an angle, and it won't warp the image for drawing. Yeah. If you accidentally move your phone out of place or your drawing surface out of place, it will stay aligned as long as you have it either taped directly onto your drawing surface or, like me, onto a table or a clipboard. I like to use clipboards because I have multiple different projects going on at once. Hello. Okay, I'm gonna go through some of my favorite features that no other apps, or not apps, tracing methods can do besides the anchor. So one that I'm going to be using a lot of is the strobe. So I turn that on and turn up the opacity to the fullest. This will just flash back and forth between my drawing and my reference, so I can see all the tiny little differences and pretty much place spot the difference, but you're changing it to match the reference. This, getting this detailed is totally up to you. You do not have to be a photorealistic portrait artist to use the app. You can just use it to do the outline and then add your own little creative flair. You don't even have to draw from photo references. You can take that perfect sketch that you did in your sketchbook that you want to transfer onto a finished piece like a canvas, wall, or whatever. and use this app to transfer that perfect sketch onto that and then paint from there. So there's more than one reason to use the tracing method. So there's a grid feature right next to it. This works really well with the classic mode so that you can square off the corners, or you can kind of just use the app as like a grid method. So it'll automatically, so you get it lined up on your drawing surface, you get the grid up there, and then you take the phone off, and then you just do the grid method. If you want to do that instead, a step towards doing freehand, if that's something you're looking for. I don't know if that made any sense. The torch is good for if you have a dark room. I just have to tell you that graphite, or a material that's kind of shiny, it's a little difficult to get all the little dark areas to be right, because it just looks like it's white when it shines back to you. It's just the reflective light. So I recommend getting some really good lighting for your drawings. Breakdown mode is one of my other favorite tools that I use a lot, mostly for my black and white drawings and watercolors. So what I like to do is I like to have the cutout off, which is the gray, have about 5 steps. You can play around with it. You can change the exposure, make it a little bit blurry if you don't really care for all the little teeny tiny details, because it's like, for breakdown mode, it's just like a base for me, and then I build up on it. So I'm going to show you what that does. So what it does is it gives you step-by-step stencils for color value. The first layer is going to be a really light layer of gray, or whatever color you're using. And then the next step, it's going to be a smaller area. You get darker and darker, and you just build upon it. This is great for practicing your shading and also understanding a little bit more about structure as well. So that is something I use a lot of for graphite. Record button. If I didn't have a million things going on with this phone alone, it would work, but I'm streaming to my TV, I'm streaming onto Mevo Go, which is streaming onto YouTube, and it's my phone just doesn't like to do recording at the same time. So, but it's really fun. It makes a time-lapse video from beginning to end. Even if it's more than one day, you just got to press the record every time you do it, and it just keeps adding to that time-lapse video. It is wonderful, a really cool way to display your art on social media, and it's also really interesting watching how your art comes to life. So yeah. Hi, app name, Vinci Eye. There is a link, there's a couple of links to it. One is the iOS link, which there's a promo code attached to it. So you can get the app for free for a year. And there's a link for Android, but it is currently free already. It does have a few ads for certain features, but it's a great opportunity to try it out. And then once you know for sure for Android that you're going to want to use it, I recommend purchasing it sooner than later, because they have in the past grandfathered people into the price that they originally agreed upon. And I think that's it for the app itself. I'm going to show you how I choose colors. There's more than one way to do this. Like, there's another app out there that it's not associated with us, but it's something I used to help guide me with like learning color theory and stuff like that. It's a great beginner stuff, but I recommend only using that for a little bit and then going on to what I do now. So that little app that I'm talking about is Colored Pencil Picker. It has there's a few different versions of it. One, you create your own palette, and the other one has pre-made palettes based off of different color brands and size of the pencil set you have. And essentially what you do is you just upload your reference, click on the area that you want to draw. It'll give you all the colors that you need, including like the undertones and stuff, how many layers you need to get as close as possible. It is not a 100% accurate method, but it will help you start to see those undertones like reds and greens and shadows, blues or yellows and highlights and stuff like that. Once you get used to it, colors and start to see them a little bit better, then I recommend doing this. This is the more accurate method. You get your pencil set, and you can actually create these with multiple different types of pencils, whatever you want to do. But I recommend getting a swatch page like this, and then you go from dark to light on each rectangle so you can see the wide range of what the colors can do. I wish I did that. I should redo that. And then you put with the color the number and the name for the colors. And then what you want to do is you're going to want to print off, this is if you have a printer, print off the reference photo. And that way, like, let's look at the eyes. We can compare the eyes to the colors that we see. So this one's like mostly ivory and May green. Or if you don't have a printer, you can just pull it up on a tablet, put it in a photo editing or drawing app, and then use the little color picker, touch the area that you want to work on. It'll give you the color that it is, and then you compare that color to your swatches. Just so you know, no matter what method you use, each method's going to be slightly different than another for colors. It is important to know, like the base, like the general colors, but not the exact colors. Jenny, I'm working, honey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where's Dad? Okay, so like getting the general colors, you don't have to get them exact, but yeah, nobody's gonna really know. It looks pretty close, doesn't it? Anyways, I'm getting distracted. I need... Come get her from the door, please. Sorry about that. So yeah, I think that's it. Let's get started into what we were working on last, which was a little interesting texture of fur that was underneath the chin here. So I'm gonna actually turn on the strobe and turn up the opacity to the fullest so we can see the differences between our reference photo and our drawing so that we can see placement and stuff. Just give me a minute while I set up a couple of things here so that you get to see everything from different angles. So that's, there we go. Okay. We're good to go. I see some warm colors in there. I'm not going to tell you the exact colors I'm using, but I'm going to try to explain it as best as possible. So it's kind of like a warm brown color that I need. So I'm doing light pressure and circular motions, holding the pencil at the end. This way I can kind of use the side of the pencil a little bit. I am doing kind of like a general placement of this color. We can add the texture of the hair over top for details and stuff. But right now we're just trying to build the lightest part of the fur underneath so that we don't have any blank spaces. Unless it is white in those areas, then we can have those blank spaces. If that makes any sense. We're just placing it very lightly in those areas that we see it. And then I also see a very light yellow creamy color in some areas, so we're going to fill that in too. Light pressure and circular motions. And then there's a touch of blue, very, very light blue. So just light pressure and circular motions, just in those areas that we see that color. And yes, blue is not the majority or is not naturally on a cat unless if it's light or shadows, and then it kind of pops up a little bit. This is part of color theory, is seeing those really interesting colors that you wouldn't think that are there. I think that's good. Now let's start getting into the darker colors. I see a lot of gray. I want to add a different gray to my drawing set. Something that's slightly lighter than what I have, because I got like a pretty dark gray here. So we're going to start adding the texture. You do not need to do every single detail exact. You can just use it as a guide for placement, for texture, for the direction of the fur. Just, yeah. So there's a few important things that you need to be aware of when drawing hair and fur. One is the structure of the fur. So it's like the general shapes. So like, for example, right here is one chunk of fur, and that's the structure is kind of like a wiggly triangle, and then there's this section right here that's a half moon. And then within that, you would also want to look at the shapes of the highlights and the shadows as a whole. And then we also really want to be able to follow the curvature and the direction of the fur. When you are placing down strokes, make sure you pick up your pencil for every stroke. We're not zigzagging. I only do zigzagging for like general color buildup, or not really zigzagging. I do circular motions for general buildup. For the texture, is individual short strokes to create that. We're just lightly putting pressure. We're not putting a ton of color down. We're going to slowly build it up. This helps get a lot of like nice layers in there, which helps with the realism. The more layers you can put down, especially on fur, the more full it looks, the more realistic it'll look too. Okay, the next color I see very little bit of is a brown. So let's get a light brown. Most of my browns are like the same color, and it's kind of strange to me, and they're different colors, but they're not really that much different. So just light pressure, we're slowly building up, following the curvature of the fur, following the direction, picking up the pencil every time we put down a stroke. Something that you guys didn't see in the previous video is I took a empty pen and I indented the paper where the whiskers are, so we don't have to worry about preserving the whiskers. They will pop up naturally because I indented the paper. This method is only going to work with thick paper like Bristol board, cardstock, We're looking for those little differences, the little changes in the shadows and highlights. And we can go back and forth between the colors just to really build that up. Now, if we feel like we need to add more of a certain color as like a whole to fill in space, we can go back with circular motions. The details will still pop through, especially if it's a lighter color that you're using to do this. So like we could do circular motions right here to really fill in that and make sure the general shade is a little darker, matching it a little bit better. And it won't let make those sketch marks disappear completely, so don't worry about that. I think I need to add more of a warm tone in some areas. Let's take a look at this. I think I might use a little bit of a darker cream color. Right in here. Light pressure, circular motions. I'm holding the pencil closer to the end so I can kind of use the side of the pencil a little bit more. I'm hoping that this will kind of speed up now that I'm not focused too much on like the features of the face, because I feel like the features of the face is one of the most important parts of the cat. Spent a lot of my energy just getting the face right. Now let's go in with black. Get some of those darker areas a little bit darker, giving it a little depth, a bit more shape to it. I'm not putting a whole bunch of pressure on it. It's, I would say, like medium pressure. Like firm. Something between light and hard pressure. Just a medium pressure. We're starting to see that fur just come to life slowly, but it is coming to life. It's alive. Just so you know, my phone is being streamed to my TV, so that's why I'm looking up and above my phone. This is something that I prefer, like this is what I prefer to do, but it's not something you have to do. Just figure out something that works for your comfort. So I see something kind of interesting that I only really noticed on the reference that I printed off, is that there is a metal hoop right here. This is the chain that connects to a little bell. It looks like there's a bell on this cat. So let's try to preserve this, make this pop up a little bit better. It kind of just really blended into the fur. And I'm going to add a little bit of gray on the ends of this. And then there's that other side to this little chain right here. So I'm going to sculpt this out. Add a little bit of gray just to the ends so we can create that shine mark. And then I'm going to get a blank piece of paper. Where did it go? Every time I use my empty pen, I scribble on a blank piece of paper to make sure all of the ink is out, because sometimes it just pops up randomly. Just scribble on it to make sure everything is good. And then I'm going to indent right where that chain is so we can preserve it. I'm going to push right into the page to make a groove. And then we can do the other chain as well. So that way we don't have to worry about preserving it. It just will stay. So let me just show you what I mean by that. We can go over it. And then it kind of just stays there. What we're going to do after we get that area done, we're going to add a little bit of gel, white gel, to kind of really get the shine. Actually, I think we could do that right now. Let's just show you. Let's see what this works, how this works. You just add a little bit of gel to it to get that highlight, to make it look like it's made out of metal. And then same with this one. So it's more of a mixed media drawing, just a little bit. I also used that same gel in the eyes, I think. Did I? Let me see if I can get the color, the white, to pop back up. Let's go over this again. Okay, and going back in with that gray, just a little bit. Light pressure during this whole process so far. We are going to increase the pressure as we get more and more layers down. I'm going to grab that brown again. And go over some of those dark areas with the brown, make it look a little bit more natural colors going on. So a little bit more natural looking. Has this camera changed at all? Has it been stuck on here? I don't know if it has. Love pencil work, especially colored pencil. However, app looks very difficult to use. Where can I find the link for a trial, please? It is in the in the description. So just scroll down and you will see a promo code for the iOS, a link for that. And then you'll also see a link for the Android. I don't have a promo code for the Android, but it is currently free. I like to take things to extreme. You don't have to be as extreme as I am. So just letting you know. So like a lot of people just do the outlines of the subject and then they just go on doing their own thing without the app. I just really enjoy doing it this way because I like to be practically exact to the reference. It's just something I enjoy doing. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like doing that, so. Okay, there are many different ways to blend. I want to let you know. Why isn't this moving along? Oh, there it goes. Okay. So you can use, what I usually use is a colorless pencil. I got this from Prismacolor, but I'm not using Prismacolor. I'm using Faber-Castell Polychromos. You can use this. It helps push in the pigment, break it down a little bit, pushing the pigment to the paper, and it also keeps pretty much the most important details like the texture. It keeps the texture really well. Or you can use a white colored pencil. It makes it a lot smoother, a nice smoother finish, but it also makes the color kind of more like light pastel colors. You can use a blending marker that's designed for this. It kind of gives more of like you still have the vivid color, but it gives it more of like a marker finish. Like it looks like you went over it with a marker. And you have to know how to clean it properly so that the colors don't bleed. You can use hand sanitizer and a Q-tip. Also, it kind of gives like more of a marker look to it. Or you can do some studying, independent studying about your pencils, because different pencils have different bases to them. So for example, Prismacolor is a wax-based and Faber-Castell is oil-based. So you're going to need different solutions for blending. So what it does is it breaks up the colors, making it easier to kind of do a blending effect. And you use like a firm paintbrush to put the solution down. So it's just like a liquid thing. And it also gives kind of like a marker look to it as well. So depending on what you're looking for, there are different methods, pros and cons for everything. So you're going to see the colors really pop up. I am going in the direction of the fur. I'm not going the opposite across that texture. So I'm going to really push that into the paper. You're also going to start seeing that chain pop up a little bit better too, because the colors around it are getting darker from doing this. And we're putting quite a bit of pressure. We don't want to put so much pressure that we lose or that we indent the paper. We don't want to indent the paper, but we're doing enough to really push that that pencil in. I think I might do the same to the sides here again. Just really push that in there, the sides of the face. We're trying to fill in those gaps of white. Get rid of that texture of that paper, make it disappear. And make sure you're going in the direction of the fur when you're doing this. You don't want to lose those marks. Just soften them up, the edges up, but we're not losing those marks. I want to show you, I don't know if you'll see it on here, what it looks like when you do a little bit of white for blending. I'm only going to do it for those really light areas. I don't know if you guys can see this. So you just push that into the paper. I find that it fills in those gaps a little bit easier, but again, we're losing the vibrancy of the pencils when we're doing this. So you got to find the perfect balance. There is another option to blending that doesn't use the white pencil. That is going with the lightest color of the section that you're working on, so it keeps the vibrancy. So do you see that? I don't know if you do. I don't know if you see that. And I'm only doing this on select areas. I'm not doing this in dark areas because I kind of want to keep those pretty dark. I'm sorry for the background noise. I opened up my window and I am on the busiest street in my small little town. It is a vital road for many different things. So you'll hear some stuff going on in the background. So you see that? How's that coming along? What does that look like on screen? We're going to move on to the next section of fur. We're going to start with the lightest colors we see. There is a slight light blue in some sections. So we're going to do light pressure and circular motions. We're just filling in that general space. Don't worry about perfect placement or texture at this point. We just want to build up a nice base color so that the paper gets filled in nice and creating a nice thick volume of fur. I'm going to take the knead eraser and get rid of some of the graphite that I placed down in the first video that we did. And then another color, I actually kind of see a tan now. What tan do we see? I got two different tans. Let's go with the lighter one. This is in the lighter section of the fur. So light pressure and circular motions, we're really just trying to build up a base. And we're going to slowly get it darker and darker as we go. Just holding the pencil at the end. This helps with using the side of the pencil. This is a great habit to get into, especially if you're also doing people portraits, to get a really nice smooth texture for skin or fabric. So that's why I'm doing it mostly, is because it's a habit and it's a good habit. If you do happen to get more of like a sketchy texture, try to go in the direction of the fur, but it will just kind of add to it instead of making it look messy in a bad way. Now I'm going to go, let me see, what other colors do I see in here? There is a slight warm brown color in some of the sections. It's very little bit, like it's a very small amount. And it's mostly kind of like a transition color from like the light to the dark. So we're going to just do very light pressure and circular motions, giving it a little bit more control and placement at this point. Just a little bit. And then gray. Light pressure and circular motions. And we want a little bit more control in the placement here. We want to try to preserve those lighter areas. And it doesn't have to be exact to the reference. If you don't want it to be exact, you can just use the reference as a guide for placement. Now I'm kind of doing more of an oval shapes to kind of follow the direction of the fur. And really focusing on like the general shapes of those shadows. Now that we got that down, we can start. Let me just see. Let's go and take a look if there's anything we need to add. I think we do need to add a little bit of brown here and there, so I'm going to grab that brown. There's only some right here and some right here. I'm going to do circular motions, kind of following mostly like the direction of the fur. But we're going to put some of that brown down. And I'm collecting the pencils I'm using so that it can be more cohesive throughout the drawing and make it look like it's all connected. Now we can start building up texture. So this is where lines, short strokes, individual lines comes in. We're going to make short strokes, light pressure at this point. I'm using a gray just to get in that texture of the hair. I'm not trying to copy every single placement exactly. I am just trying to get the general placement of it and also really focusing on the direction of the fur. We want to have that same flowy movement. Don't zigzag the pencil. Make sure you pick up the pencil every time you make a stroke. Okay, I'm going into some darker colors. I'm going to go in with brown. We're just slowly building in those dark areas, adding more layers, which creates more fullness of the fur. And we can have a few hairs that are darker kind of get misplaced. And we're kind of just wanting to break away from the rules. We can add a few little hairs here and there. The rules of having certain places for things. And let's go in with the black to really start building the depth of the hair. Kind of see the layers kind of pop up. Like there's different sections where there's a layer of fur here that's quite obvious, and then another layer here. Now let's bring in those really dark sections. Let's build those up. Just doing small strokes, picking up the pencil every time. I'm holding the pencil closer to the tip with these fine details so I can have more control and also have some finer lines. And you're starting to see that kind of come to life at this point. You're starting to see it. I wish I had a lighter gray. I'm gonna kind of just go and look at the reference photo that's printed off. But I feel like if I had a lighter gray, this might be a little bit easier to do. I'm just adding a little bit of texture in the light areas. I'm just doing a few gray hairs just poking through. Very light pressure. I just feel like I need to bring in some more transitioning shades, more layers. And go in. I'm kind of going back and forth between colors. This layer upon layer upon layer. It is very tedious. Let's really put those grays down. Let's see, where do I see them? I see one, I mean not grays, the blacks. I see a section right here that's really dark, so I'm gonna put some medium pressure on that to create that darkness to it. And a little bit more in some certain areas here. We really want to build up the depth of that fur. We want to get nice and dark just in some areas. Create a nice contrast. Having contrast really does help make the drawing pop. Try to stay away from zigzagging. Pick up that pencil every time you make a stroke. Okay, now we're going to blend it. So again, different methods of blending. You can use a colorless pencil, a white pencil, a lightest version of the color of pencil in certain areas. You can use a blending marker. You can use hand sanitizer and a Q-tip, or special solutions depending on which pencils you have, and a firm paintbrush. Each one has their the pros and cons. Like this one keeps the color vivid, but it doesn't fill in the gaps as well as if you were to use any of the pencils, like the white pencil or the lightest version of the color. The white makes the colors kind of softer, lighter. So if you need those dark, vivid colors, I wouldn't use the white. The lightest version of the colors doesn't have that effect as much. The blending pen markers and solutions, they kind of have like more of like a marker finish to it. So if there's but it does keep the nice vivid colors. So play around with stuff, figure out what works for you, what you like, or whatever. Let's start off with using the colorless pencil. I'm just really pushing in the pencils right in there. You're going to see it get darker. I'm going to start with the darkest areas first. You see how that's getting darker? And then I'm going to have to sharpen this. And then let's go over the lighter areas. We're just following the direction of the fur because we don't want to lose that texture. Going to be a lot of little dust particles from that. My favorite tool for taking off dust particles and eraser stuff too is using a horsehair brush. This is actually, hand-me-down from my mom to me. And it's kind of nice to have a little bit of my mom's stuff with me as an artist. She was an artist too, and was really good at one point in her life. She did a lot of oil paintings and pencil drawings too. Yeah, I think I might go over with some areas on the face again with that colorless pencil just to kind of blend it out a little bit more. Fill in those gaps. Really want it to be very solid looking. Make it look more like a painting than a drawing. I think I might be doing this every time I finish a section, is just going in some areas where I see those white little dots and trying to remove them by using a blending method. I think I'm going to start working more from like the left to the right. So I'm sorry for the top view for this, because that phone is covering up the drawing. So I apologize for that. So this is the whole section I want to work on. Isn't that cute? How does that look in comparison to the reference? Another thing you need to be aware of with blending is if you are using a colored pencil, even if it's a white pencil, it'll be hard to put in some sharp details over top of it. But if you're using the colorless pencil, you can still add more layers to it, or the solution or the markers, you can add some more details over top of it as well. The first thing I'm going to turn off the strobe for a minute and turn down the opacity. I want to turn it down to the point where I can see the tip of my pencil, just barely. I'm going to take the knead eraser and just take off that graphite, because I don't want the graphite to pop through. The graphite is the outline that I did a long time ago. I only do the outlines to help me make sure everything is aligned perfectly, because technology is not 100%, but this is still like way more convenient than like a traditional projector or a light box. Okay, so let's look to see what colors we see for light tones. We got some blue, so let's get that blue on there. Let me see, we got this section right here. So there's blue here, and then there's blue here. So let's do light circular motions. We're going to try to stay within the whole entire shape of the cat. But we don't need to worry about exact placement within the cat. Just light pressure and circular motions. Did my alarm not go off, or did it? I think it did, and I just ignored it. That's funny. Anyways, it is time for a quick break. A quick break. Let me see. Did I do this funny? I did do this funny. So we're gonna watch a quick videos done by Sam, the developer, and a slideshow. And this is a good time to stretch your legs, get something to drink, a snack, and then we'll come back later. So, also think about some questions that you might want answered. This is why I'm doing live, is so that I can answer your questions immediately, so I can show you how what to do for certain situations. But yeah, you guys enjoy the little clip that I put together for you.
Vinci Eye uses your phone's camera feed and lays a transparent picture that you want to draw over that camera feed. If you look at your phone's screen, you'll be able to see both the picture that you want to draw and the place where you want to draw it at the same time. This lets you easily trace an image onto any surface. To get started, you need to place your phone on top of a tall glass. If your phone doesn't have a case, it might slide around when you touch it. This makes adjusting settings while you're drawing very difficult. To fix this, cut a long piece of tape and fold it into a loop. Place the tape loop on top of your glass, and this will stop the phone from moving around. You can also place a tape loop on the bottom of your glass to stop the glass from moving around. If you're a lefty or a righty, it doesn't matter. You can position the phone any way that is easiest for you to draw. The higher that your phone is positioned, the more of the canvas you'll be able to see and the larger the picture you will be able to draw. Tall aerosol spray cans work great, or you can use one of our Vinci Eye phone stands, which lets you easily adjust the height and position of your phone. Links to these stands can be found in the app. Now it's time to position the image on your paper. Press the move button, and using one finger you can pan the image. Using two fingers, you can zoom, shrink, and rotate the image. When the move button is unpressed, the camera will be locked together with the reference image. This lets you zoom out to see your drawing as a whole, or zoom in so you can draw fine details. To make your image more or less transparent, you can use the opacity slider. Move the slider to the left to make your picture more transparent, and to the right to make it less transparent. If you find that your pencil or paper is blurry as you're drawing, you can adjust the focus of your camera by pressing Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. To record a time lapse, like this one while you draw, press Tools, then scroll all the way to the right, press the Record option, and then press the Record On switch. One of the most powerful tools in the app is the strobe feature. This strobes the image on and off so that you can compare color values and you can see places where you still need to draw. In addition to the multiple filters in the Filters tab, there is also the Breakdown feature in the Breakdown tab. This breaks down your image into layers by color value. For beginners, it turns your photos into a draw by numbers project. Or for advanced artists, it can help you analyze the structure and composition of what you are about to draw or paint. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right-hand corner of the screen. From there, you can watch instructional videos, check out our frequently asked questions, and even email us. We usually respond to emails extremely fast, and we love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using our app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos of how to use all of the amazing features that are in Vinci Eye. To get started with AR mode, you will need to create an anchor. An anchor locks your reference image in place, so you can move your phone or your canvas, and as long as the anchor is in the camera's view, your reference image will align itself back perfectly with what you are drawing. To get started, take a business card-sized piece of paper, or larger. Then take a black marker and do your best Jackson Pollock impression. Make a lot of squiggles with many intersecting points and different shapes. The more tiny little details, the better. The larger you make your anchor, the further away from your canvas you can have the phone and still have accurate placement. It's a good idea to tape your anchor in place on your paper before you draw. This ensures that your reference image will always be in the right place. You should be prompted to make an anchor right away. However, if you want to make a new anchor, press Tools, then AR, then Anchors. To upload your anchor, press Add Anchor in the top right corner of the screen. Press the purple button at the bottom of the screen to bring up the camera. Make sure your camera is perfectly level with the anchor. You don't want to have it tilted like this or like this, or else it could distort your overlay image when it is projected onto your paper. When you're finished taking a picture, press the OK button at the bottom right corner of the screen. Next, you need to crop your anchor. Drag the corners of the cropping frame to the edges of your anchor. Make sure there is no background visible. Then, press Crop at the top right corner of the screen. The last step is to measure your anchor. Make sure that it is at least 3.5 inches or 8 centimeters wide. Now press Done. Now press Use Anchor. Your image should now appear on top of the anchor whenever the anchor is in view. Do not hold the phone in your hand and try to draw. You can easily make a stand out of objects found around your house, like with tape and a tall glass, tape and a tall spray can. You can also purchase an inexpensive stand like this one. A link to stands that we recommend can be found in the app. If your camera is not in focus, press Tools, then Camera, and then Fix Focus. This will refocus the camera to your paper. Your image will appear in the center of your anchor. To position your image on your paper,
use 2 fingers to zoom out so you can see your paper as a whole. Then press the Move button, and using 1 finger, you can pan your image. Using 2 fingers, you can enlarge, shrink, and rotate your image. When you're done, make sure to press the Move button again to lock the image in proportion so you can zoom in to draw fine details, or you can zoom out to see your drawing as a whole. Now you can adjust the opacity. Press the opacity button in the bottom right corner of the screen to make the image more or less transparent. To apply image filters, go to Tools, then Filters, and then press the Filters button. Filters can make your image easier to draw by helping you see different elements more clearly. You can also use the Breakdown tool by going to Tools, then Breakdown, and then Setup. This lets you break down your image into layers by color value. This is great for turning any image into a paint by numbers tutorial, or if you're an advanced artist, it can help you analyze the no-tan or structure and composition of your artwork. To use the strobe feature, go to Tools, then Strobe. This tool slowly flashes the overlay image on and off, allowing you to easily compare color values of your reference image to your drawing. This is one of the most powerful tools in the entire app. To get to the last absolutely need to know feature, press Tools, then slide all the way to the right and press Record. Then turn the record switch on. This lets you record awesome time lapses of your artwork without the overlay, just like this one. Make sure if you post your time-lapse videos on social media to tag us at Vinci Eye for a repost. If you need help with anything, you can always press the help question mark in the top right corner of the screen. From there, you can check out our frequently asked questions, watch instructional videos, and even email us. We usually respond extremely fast emails and love to hear from artists and aspiring artists using the app. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest to see instructional videos and demos how to use all the awesome features Vinci Eye has built in.
Hello and welcome back. Now is a very good time to ask questions. I can show you anything that you need me to go over for the app. But if you don't have anything to say, I can just go through the list of things that I normally talk about. So the reason why I'm looking to the side is because that's where your comments are. So if you want to draw along with me for these live videos, even after the fact of me going live, all my reference photos are in the Vinci Eye App Facebook group, in the featured, or in my personal Facebook page, charitylowsart, also in a featured post. Or you can look up my profile on the app and scroll down into my inspirations and you can find it there as well. I really recommend that you draw along with me so you can actually learn more, because the more you do it yourself, the more you learn. If you want to be featured in the slideshows that I do for my live videos, send me an email with your name and the image that you want on. You can have more than one to put on the slideshow. It would be great to have a variety of artists with a variety of different styles to show in these slideshows. You can request future videos. So for example, we don't have to do people and pet portraits. We can do all different types of subjects. I've done a wide variety of stuff. We don't have to stick to pencil work. We can do anything from painting, drawing, so soft pastels, fabric painting, wood burning, anything. Even if I don't know how to do it, I will spend my time learning how to do it and then give you a beginner-friendly start to that to that craft. You could also request me to do certain pictures that you have. So if you want me to do your family members, yourself, or your pets, send me the reference image through my email. And I will also send you the finished drawing through mail for free. Everything for free. So if you want to do that. You can also request different challenges, like how to use or how to do like photorealistic drawings with limited pencils, like to say only the primary colors. These videos are for you, for your education, help you get things going. If you don't have the app and you would like to try it, there is a promo code in the description for the iOS, so you could try it for free for a year. Android is currently free because it was just dropped, the new version of it, and they want people to try it and then give their honest review on the Play Store. It does have some ads. It's going to be a temporary thing, and this is for certain features. But as soon as you know that you're going to love this app and that you're going to use it frequently, I recommend buying it sooner than later, because in the past they've had grandfathered people into the price that they originally paid for. So if prices go up, you don't have to pay those extras. Don't tell my boss. If you need more tech support, I recommend emailing the app developer at info@davinciieapp.com. So yeah, he just helps with more of the technical stuff. Like if something was just not working as well as you'd hoped it would, he'll help figure out what's going on and fix that for you. Join our Facebook community. It's a great place to interact with other artists, post your work, get some inspiration, try new ways of doing things. Like there's just a whole bunch of things that you can do there. Plus, on every 6 months, I either do a challenge or a competition. And these are things that you can win cash prizes for. So that's something that would be fun for you to do. And as you've seen the video earlier, it's already went through all the app features for you. So now we can just get back to what we were doing. So don't hesitate to ask any questions during the live. I will respond to them as soon as I see them. Also, if you have any questions while watching this after the fact, playback, you can also ask questions in the comments. I'm the one that responds to the comments, and I will try to answer them in the following live video. Doesn't matter how old the video is, I will still respond to comments. It's part of my job. I'm just looking at the reference here and seeing what colors I see. There's a little bit of blue still, like right in here. So light, pressure, and circular motions. Holding the pencil at the end so that we can use the side of the pencil. This helps with a consistent pressure and also kind of prevents any like really strong pencil marks, which is a good habit to be in. It's not necessary for doing textures like fur, but it's good to get into that habit for other types of drawings too, like people portraits. So light, pressure, and circular motions. We are going to build up the lighter sections, the general area of all the light fur, and then we're going to go over it with the darker to create the texture. You don't have to be really particular about placement at this point either. Okay, a next color I see is a tan color, and I mostly see it right on the edge. Light pressure and circular motions. If you're going over the dark sections, that's totally fine. Placements of the colors. If you put a whole bunch of pencil down immediately, you won't be able to build up the colors and it won't look realistic when you're done. Is there any other colors that I see? I think I still see some. Light pressure and circular motions, just filling in the general area with this color. I know you can't see the change. It will pop up. It will be there. Okay, let's turn on the strobe again and turn up the opacity to its fullest, maybe? Should we do that? I don't know, are we gonna do that? I think we could do that. So I'm gonna go in with the gray. I'm still doing circular motions, but I'm getting more of the darker sections done. And we're doing very light pressure. So we're really just trying to build up the base of it so that it feels more full. The fur feels really thick when you're done. So just want to let you know what the plans are for some future videos. Right now we only have one request for what we're gonna do. And that request is stained glass paint by Deco Art. And I'll just let you know what materials you're going to need. You can go to the dollar store and you can go get yourself a floating frame. So it's a frame that doesn't have a solid background. It's just another piece of glass or plastic. The Dollar Tree has it, and if the Dollar Tree has it, pretty much all the different dollar stores do too. And those are the cheapest ones you can. And then Deco Art stained glass paint is one that you're gonna want to order as well. I know, like, Deco Art has their own website, and I find that buying directly from the company on their company website is cheaper than buying it at like a art. It depends on where you are in the world, especially with all the stuff that's happening right now. So before you buy at a certain place, kind of see what the prices are in different places to get the best deal. Just letting you know. I'm starting to put a little bit of texture, especially right in the paw, because it almost is like spotted. Doing very light pressure, and I'm putting one short stroke at a time, picking up the pencil every time. And I'm using the reference as a guidance. It's not exactly perfect to the original. Now, a little tip that I want you to know is that when you're getting into arts and crafts for the first time, and there's different types of things you want to try, it is not necessary for beginners to get real high-end stuff. You can learn all the skills you need to learn to make really good artwork with cheaper materials. And then once you get to the point where you feel really confident in what you're doing, then invest in some better quality stuff. So that way you don't get disappointed by higher quality stuff because the drawings aren't looking as good as you hoped they would. You have developed the skills and you can make it look good regardless of what pencils you're using, and then it just feels nice. It's more smoother or whatever when you get the more the higher quality stuff. When buying pencils, the only other recommendation that I have for you is try to find a company that sells the pencils individually, whether that be graphite pencils or colored pencils. Because what's going to happen if you don't get a company that sells separate pencils is you're going to have a bunch of the same color that you like hardly ever use. And it'll just be stored in some place, just waiting for the day to be used. Behind me, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have a little, it's supposed to be like a phone holder for classes. That's what it's advertised for. But I set it up as a backup replacement pencils for my colored pencils. I also have another one that's right beside it on a door for my graphite pencils that I use. But I every so often when I'm doing inventory, which isn't as often as it used to be, I go look at these organized stuff here and see what I'm missing so I can make sure I always have backups. So we're starting to get a little bit of depth, a little bit of structure from doing this. So just light pressure. We're starting off with lighter pressure, and then we're going to build that up slowly to get some contrast. And then let's build up the other paw. Just light pressure. We're doing individual strokes, so picking up the pencil every time we make a stroke. We're using the reference as guidelines to placement. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. It looks like I'm really focusing on the exact placement, but I'm not. Just slowly building it up. She is very particular about her shows she watches. She can watch a show for 2 minutes and then she has to switch it over to another. I'm doing very small strokes, picking up the pencil every time I place it down. I'm going to try to avoid doing some crisscrossing of the fur, but it's not going to be perfect. We don't want to do lines one way and then lines over top of it in another way. It's just how I see the fur. I'm assuming which direction it's going, especially with these really tiny details. Gotta try to figure out which way the fur is going. Okay, let's take a look at the printed reference. I think I might do some circular motions to fill in this section, just a little bit with that gray, just to darken up the general space of it. So yeah, I'm just trying to build up the shading of it. So that's why I'm kind of doing more circular motions than I am doing individual strokes. Let's go over it again. I'm going to use a brown to go over some areas. So light, well, I'm doing kind of medium pressure because I want to try to really build up the contrast. Still doing individual strokes to create the texture, the desired texture. So small strokes. Every time I do a line, I pick it up and place it down and just repeat over and over again. When we're done for the day, I'm gonna ask the person who requested to have me draw this one. I'm gonna ask if they want the background or not. I don't really care either way. I'm holding the pencil closer to the tip so I can have a little bit more control and get like a sharper line. Okay. Let's see, is there any sections that I need to add? Make the light fur a little darker. I think I might use this tan color here, light pressure and circular motions. I'm going to go back over with the gray. I'm going to create some more shadowing, very light shadowing. I kind of can go more with the direction of the fur with this. But it is still going to be a very soft texture, so we can still kind of do like a circular or more oval-like direction. So we're not doing like sharp zigzags, we're just having like really soft, soft lines. So light pressure and circular motions, especially when we're filling in the general area and making it a little bit darker. If there's a lot of really light furs, don't fill it in with the gray. There's a lot of white. I think I might start going in with the black now to create some more contrast. I'm doing some firm pressure. Picking up the pencil every time I make a stroke. So when I'm filling in the general area with the color, I do the circular motions. But when I'm starting with more detailed stuff, then I am doing the individual lines. If you're watching this after the fact, please comment on it so I know you guys are watching, because I really want to know if people are watching my videos. I'm actually going to do some firm pressure, but with circular motions here, so I can have it more of a solid, solid shape here, because don't really see much texture here anyways. I want it to be nice and solid here. The first half of these live videos goes by so fast, but when it comes to the second part of the videos, it's like so long. I feel like I've been on here for like 3 hours now, but it hasn't even been 2 hours of drawing. Same here. I want to do more circular motions, kind of make it more solid right underneath the paw. Okay, and go back in with brown just to warm it up a little bit. Putting firm pressure on it in some areas. I'm going to go ahead and grab the warmer or the darker skin tone to build up a little bit more color in these lighter areas. How is that looking? I'm going to focus on the reference that's printed off. I'm just adding a little bit more texture over top of those brighter areas to create some fur. And I'm actually going to be using a little bit of dark red, very, very dark red, in those really dark areas. I haven't done this yet for some of the sections yet. So it's going to be a little bit of red, just in a few spots. And then I'm actually going to go over it with a little bit of green too. So another dark green over top of that. These colors are usually used in very dark places, like black. Kind of makes it look more alive. And then I'm going to add more black just in those really dark sections, picking up the pencil every time I place it down. Every stroke is brand new, not attached to another. No zigzagging, that's what I'm trying to say. No zigzagging. Pretty soon I'm going to try to blend it out to see what it looks like. Hopefully it's good, but I'm not 100% sure if it is. Let's see what it looks like when we blend it out. See if we did a good enough job to kind of make it match the rest of it. I'm going to go over the different methods of blending. You can use a colorless pencil, keeps things vivid. It just doesn't look super solid when it's done. Or you can use a white pencil or the lightest color that you see in that area, and it fills in the gaps a little bit more, making it more kind of look like oil. But if you're using white, then it softens it up. If you're using the closest color that's really light to the section you're trying to blend, it keeps the vibrancy a little bit better. You can use a blending marker or hand sanitizer, rubbing alcohol, or do some research on which solution will help with blending. Different pencils have a different base, like the Faber-Castell Polychromos are wax, and I mean not wax, they're oil, and Prismacolor is wax. So they will have different things that will help break down the color for a blending look. I am going to mostly use the colorless pencil for my blending. So I'm going to start off with the darker areas. That's what I'm really going to work on right now, just really getting those dark areas blended in. I'm going in the direction of the fur, following the curve. I want to try to preserve some of that texture while I'm blending, so that's why I'm going in the direction of the fur, not going back, not doing any circular motions. Using the colorless pencil for blending also allows you to layer a little bit more than if you were to use a colored pencil over top of it. Some pencils will actually erase a little bit. Not all of them will, but these ones do. You see that? The way that I said that was really weird. Some. What am I saying? Okay, now let's blend the rest of it. I need to sharpen this pencil again. Going in the direction of the fur, blending in the lighter areas will actually create a little bit more texture because we're dragging some of that dark pencil over top of it. You see that color just get darker and more vivid. You can really try to fill in those gaps. It's really important, especially in those dark sections of the fur, is being able to fill that in and make it solid. Now I'm going to go over some of the areas with this white. Let me see. Do I need to make some spots a little lighter? You know, that's actually fine. Fair. It's pretty good. So I'm going to go over it with some white to help smooth up the lighter areas and fill in those gaps. Now I'm trying to think. I want to show you how you can still build up texture with this, even though it's blended. So you just layer over top of it. See? You can still have some sharp lines on top of that blended stuff. And it's easier to add more if you use the colorless pencil. Especially if you're using wax-based pencils. If you put too much on right away, it's really hard to add more to the wax-based pencils. But with the oil-based pencils, you can do a whole bunch of layers, more layers than the colored pencils, the Prismacolor pencils. We're just slowly adding more layers on top of the blended stuff. Trying to stay with the direction of the fur, trying to match that as best as possible. There's going to be slight differences all the way through. So there may be some sections that go down. Like this paw, it goes kind of to the right and then it goes up. And then it's just got to be really focused on that. Does that make any sense? I'm starting to lose my ability to make sense. So we got that texture back. There's still a few spots that I want to fill in a little bit more to get rid of that. I'll get rid of those little white spots, little dots. I want to try to get rid of those. Is there any spots on his face that I want to be blended in a little bit more to make it more solid? Like right here. Just following the direction of the fur. My goal is to kind of make it more look painted than drawn. So that's why I really want to fill in those little spots. And again, we can always go over with a little bit more texture in some areas. So like we can bring back some of those details that are a little sharper over top of those blended areas. Just individual strokes. Make sure you pick up the pencil every time you place it down. Now we're going to move it over. There is a little golden bell now. I'm going to turn off the strobe temporarily so we can get the bell done. I'm going to just zoom into that bell. And then there's like a little tag attached. Actually, that might be just the collar. But there's a tag that's I'm going to trace this shape out. I'm also going to shape out the fur too while I'm here. Because I want to preserve some of that fur. So it looks like that tag is just underneath all of it. So I see another hoop. Do you see the other hoop? I see it. So there's a loop here, and then a loop here, and then another loop right there. A silver chain. So I'm going to try to get that sculpted in here too. Let's see what colors we see in the bell. What one's best work? Bright yellow that fades into kind of like a orange. That's like right in here. And then we're going to go into that orange color. And then that orange fades into like a black. So let's see, I need to add a little bit right here. Such a fine detail. It's such a little teeny tiny detail. I'm going to try to get that to look right. I'm going to start off with a dark brown. Now this pencil that I'm using can erase a little bit and I'm going to do that because there's a little bit of a spot that is a reflected highlight. Not all pencils can do this, but this set does. You see how that picked that up? Now we can put that orange back in there for like a highlight, a reflected highlight. Take the colorless pencil. And then we're going to go from the center, the highlight, and pushing it outward. Just to soften that up, making it softer, transitioning. I think I might go over it with a white right in the center here. So light, well, I'm doing firm pressure. I want to fill this in. This is black. This is black with maybe a little bit of brown in some sections. We don't want to indent the paper, but we want to get that nice and dark. And then I'm going to add a little bit of brown on the top part because I see that. And I see a black line go down this side. That kind of fades a little bit, gets a little lighter, but it's really dark right here. I see some brown in the topper part of that little stripe, and then a little bit of blue. And then I might go over it again completely with some black or gray. This one's a light pressure and circular motions. Now going back in the colorless pencil, we're gonna really push. Sorry, I want to fix the around the edge of this bell here. Okay, so I'm going to really push in that color, make it solid, especially in the black section. We're not indenting the paper, but we're really trying to fill in those little gaps, those little white spots that are created from the texture of the paper. We want a little bit of texture, not a whole bunch of texture, a little bit of texture, so that the pencil can grab onto something, but to get rid of that texture, we want to use a blending technique that helps smooth it out. I think I might go over it with a little bit of white on that edge here. I think that works pretty good. That actually did change it. There we go. How does that look? Okay, let's turn on the strobe again. I'm gonna zoom out so I can see like that whole section that I'm missing between the chin and the bottom of the cat. Okay, we're gonna start by building up the lighter colors first. So what do we see? There's a little bit of blue, mostly right here. A little bit of blue right here. So circular motions and light pressure. And then a little bit all over in this dark part of his arm. This section right here is probably going to be the most challenging because there are some like obvious white hairs and like a majority of a dark section. So I'm going to do a lot of layers of dark fur in hopes that we have some white fur poking through. So there's a bit of graphite right here, so I want to erase that. What other colors do we see? Some yellow, some like very pale pastel yellow or cream yellow. And then right in here, circular motions and light pressure. We are just trying to build up the colors of those white or those lighter pieces of fur. And we can go everywhere with it. Like we don't have to be just put right where those light spots are. We can go over it with some darker colors to create the shape of those light furs around it. Then some tan. Just doing some circular motions and light pressure. Again, we're building up the underlayer. Don't need to worry too much about texture right now. We add that when we start adding the details with the darker colors. Okay, now let's go in with some gray. I'm going to have a little bit more control or more planned placement for this. Okay. Okay, just doing my quick little ending of the video. So, reference photos can be found in the Facebook group or my Facebook page, Charity Loves Art. The Facebook group is Vinci Eye, or directly in the app. If you want your drawings to be featured in the next slideshow, just send me an email of how many pictures you want. It doesn't matter. And I will put that in there. I'll tag you in the description and also put your name right next to it too. So make sure you send me your name and your pictures. Promo codes for the app to try it for free for a year is down below. The iOS has a promo code that you can try it for free. The Android is currently free as is, with a few ads for some features. So it's a great time to try it now. And as soon as you know that you're going to be using it, get the paid version of it without the ads as soon as possible, because if prices go up, they usually grandfather you into the price that you originally paid for. If you need a little extra help technically, contact the app developer directly at info@davinciieapp.com. Join the Facebook group. You'll see a bunch of other artists get some inspiration, a little extra help, and I also host competitions and giveaways every 6 months. And it's for cash prizes, so that's something that you might want to get in, so that you can hopefully get some money for free. And then that's it. I am not the app developer, but I am one of the most... Oh, wait. Requests. I forgot to mention requests. If you want me to draw a certain picture, whether that be your family member, yourself, or a pet, you can also email that to me as well. I will give you the drawing that I did to you, send it to you through mail with no charge whatsoever. You can also request me to do something other than pencils and portraits. I'm willing to do many different subjects and many different mediums. Like, I've done a little bit of wood burning, fabric painting, quilling. I've done watercolor, acrylics, soft pastels, pens, and because of the work that I do for the Vinci Eye App, especially with their ads, I get to try a whole bunch of different things, and I'm more than happy to learn something new so that I can teach you the best tips for beginners. So future videos, once this one is done, this drawing's done, we will go and move into stained glass painting. You're going to want to get stained glass paint from Deco Art and also a floating frame. You can get floating frames from the dollar store, or if you want to have something a little bit higher quality, you can get floating frames from a craft store. So just so you're aware, I don't know how many more lives we're going to need to finish this drawing, but thank you so much for your support. I'll see you next Friday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. You guys have a wonderful day.